Magomed Ankalaev gets the TKO finish over Johnny Walker. So first, let me eat a little bit of crow right here. I was heavily questioning minus 255 TKO Ankalaev over Walker. I don't know if standing with him is going to be the correct approach that you want to take. You're having some success, taking him down and kind of wrapping him up that way. Why not repeat that? Well, AJ, that was unnecessary. He didn't need that whatsoever. Instead, cracked him with a big right in the nose, and Johnny Walker faltered. My question to you is Johnny Walker's game set up to be a point fighter? Like, after we saw this, like, his game doesn't really have the tools, I would say, to set him up to say, all right, I'm going to be skirting back against the cage, pop out the jab. I think he's more of an explosive counter striker, big shot coming. What do you think?
Absolutely, Derek. Absolutely. The way he fights definitely seems to be more of that explosive counter striker. The question starts to be begged, like, how do we get Johnny Walker from just the chaotic brawler to be able to set traps and play the game to be able to be that explosive counter striker? Because you can't just do it from the jump. You need to be able to set those traps, play those games to draw people in to be able to close those angles. But Johnny Walker, I mean, from what I liked most about this fight from Johnny Walker, he was spamming those leg kicks. He was looking fast. He was throwing the funky stuff out there intermittently, not doing it in excess, to keep Magomed on his toes. But Magomed, he was not even a half step behind. He was in pace with Johnny Walker on the leg kicks, cutting off angles, looking good, staying solid, staying composed and poised, and really being able to attack good. Man, Magomed played this game exactly right, not even needing to take this fight to the ground. Do you see Johnny Walker being able to be that trap setter of sorts, Derek, or is this just he needs to be like a chaos from the jump, get the fight over with and done?
I'm always going to say that the chaos is going to be helpful, right? Johnny Walker, the best trait about him is his unpredictability. You don't know what's coming at what point, but the reality is when he's walking you down, or he's making his opponent, come to him, and he's standing solid ground, blasting out those leg kicks, hitting with a big counter, and just making it really dangerous to enter that boxing range. That puts him in a great spot. But you saw a lot of his game was dictated by long kicks, long rangey stuff, right? Instead of I'm going to pop that jab into your face, I'm going to follow it with a big right hand. You saw a lot of big, like, crazy spinning back fists, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of big motions, and that's what they kept saying. I think it was Paul Felder specifically. He kept noting, he was all like, dude, I love it, but you got to slow down because this is a 5-round fight, and you're letting a lot of telegraphed big shots come out of nowhere, and Magomed Ankalaev is not a guy who's really going to fall victim to those traps. So I think the reality is going to be that Magomed, in this fight, there's a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, clearly, given the animosity between the two. I felt, like I said in the pre-show, that he came out and tried to prove a point. Did you see that in the fight?
Oh, absolutely, Derek. That's why I giggled a little bit when you said there was some animosity in the fight, because you could see from Jump Street, literally from minute one, they were tense, they were tension. Even with the low kick that Magomed delivered, Johnny Walker, you could tell he was upset. He was pointing. He was, there's some fouls to be had, or there's some fouls to be inexcused from the first fight. So that tension from there definitely carried over. I was glad to see they made friends and shook hands at the end, but there was a little heat for sure.
Yeah, so this is going to be really my question when it comes down to just like this matchup right here. Again, Magomed Ankalaev, you get the draw against Jan Blachowicz, you got your legs beat up, then you get this no contest against Johnny Walker. Now the public, because of the recency bias that MMA fans have, right, the public starts spouting, oh, Johnny Walker, he's probably going to knock out Ankalaev, right? Like, this number 7 dude now has a shot against the number 3 dark horse who has just been smashing everybody. Again, last loss was against Paul Craig, only loss of his career. That was so long ago. So now has he rewritten the record to say, y'all must have forgot, hey, Alex Paeta, I'm coming for you, bro. I'm ready for the title shot. Give me the title shot or give me nothing. What do you think?
As much as I'm sure the camp of Magomed Ankalaev wants that and wants that narrative to be written, Derek, I still feel like a lot of people, especially with the trajectory we've seen Johnny Walker's career be, he never was the guy who everybody was claiming was going to get the title. He was always the wild man. So I feel like a lot of people now, they're going to say, well, you should have beat Johnny Walker. He's lower than you. He's never been to that elite level, if you will. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I do think the narrative out there by the media will portray that and not give Ankalaev the credit he deserves in this fight. Unfortunately, as unfortunate that is, I don't see the media being really pushing the Ankalaev narrative that he's the new killer back on the train tracks and ready to go for Paeta. Do you see it that way, Derek?
No, man, you're right. The unfortunate reality of the lose-lose that was this rematch against Johnny Walker, man. So he just put him in a position where he had kind of wasted a little bit of time in the span of his title run that he's trying to go on, and he had to prove a point. But if he would have decisioned Johnny Walker, we'd be having a much different conversation. The fact that he got him out of there 2 rounds, knocked him out, said, "Oh, you're the big bad striker. All right, I'll show you about that." I thought that was very impressive, man. That just added to the resume of a Magomed Ankalaev. So I'm excited. Again, they're already talking about lining him up against Alex Paeta for the light heavyweight championship. And then, folks, listen, this is something that if you were on this train, like, right on, shout out to you, drop a comment, let us know. But I've been saying for a long time here, if you're a Bloody Water podcast like fan, like if you have been supporting this channel for a while, you know we have been high on Magomed Ankalaev, and you should have already put a future bet on him being a champion at some point. 2024, I think that's the year. All right, AJ, with that being said, fantastic main event to kick off 2024.